Modders are a gift, man. Whether they be fixing horrible ports, getting games to look like they belong on a 3DO, or making our favorite games look even better, mods can be a literal game changer. It's also a fun topic because it's something that you can mess with yourself, provided you don't mind sacrificing a GPU and/or a goat to get the job done. We recommend watching the video in the highest resolution your poor phone can handle for maximum tastiness. Links are down below in the description if you're feeling zesty. But that's enough about your flavor profile. Let's dive into another round of the most impressive graphics mods around. This isn't our first Minecraft mod rodeo, and I doubt it'll be our last, but there's good reason for that. Minecraft's simple blocks are absolutely begging for talented modders to fancy them up a bit. And lucky for us, they've heeded the call in spades. It's pretty interesting. The entire idea behind Minecraft is that you can make anything you want, just so long as you accept the reality of its simplistic, blocky visuals. If there's one thing that people are bad at, though, it's accepting reality, and as a result, they've pushed one of the most visually basic games on the market to unbelievable new heights. I legit thought this was a custom Unreal Engine 4 room at first. Between the crazy textures and lighting, it's a world apart from the base game. And look, there's a PC gamer just hanging out in there. It's the little things. As awesome as Minecraft mods are, you can always kind of tell it's still Minecraft, what with the world being composed exclusively of cubes and all. That is, until today. Make a flat earther cry in disbelief as we do the unthinkable, put spheres in Minecraft. The very roundest shape and the fancy lighting are courtesy of Soia? So anyway, the bounce lighting gives everything a nice, warm glow. It's a cliche at this point, but it sort of feels like elements of Minecraft were just sort of slid into the real world, and the results are breathtaking. If you're looking for something a little bit more colorful, the humble Hodleton has once again got you covered. Step into a world of Lego wonder. Torture on the feet, but a feast for the eyes. Some impressive bounce lighting and sharp ray tracing have officially raised the little Lego bar. Neat little touches like a gentle click as you take bricks apart and build with them just add to the experience and help it feel almost like an entirely different game. We've seen some cool stuff thus far, but this is arguably the most impressive. It's about as photoreal as I've seen any game look. It's not technically a mod, but it mods the game, so why don't I just explain it? Intel ISL have been building a machine learning program with artificial intelligence that can modify the in-game visuals of GTA in real time. The AI is loaded up with dashcam footage from a car touring local cities. It then takes that information and tweaks GTA to look more in line with that footage. It's scary good. Looking at the footage after the AI has had a go at it, it's honestly tough to tell at a glance that it isn't real. This could pay dividends for the future of gaming. It's hard to say when exactly. They claimed it was currently running at interactive frame rates, but the biggest hurdle might just be the fact that the tech needs real-world reference to, reference. That's fine for Grand Theft Auto, but might mean games that take place in more fantastical settings might not be strong candidates. Time will tell, but I hope it tells soon because, man, this is pretty neat. What games would you like to see this kind of tech applied to? Personally, I'd love to see the Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction or something like Sonic Unleashed showing it off, but what do you think?
Oh shit, here we go again.
This game is old enough to drive itself to the store, buy cigarettes, and never come home. That didn't sit well with Internet Rob, who aside from single-handedly creating the internet, teamed up with Just Gesha with some pretty incredible results. They took it upon themselves to deck out San Andreas with over 40 different mods to bring it up to snuff. This dynamic duo of meticulous modders brings us a pretty comprehensive overhaul. Redone textures across the board, a streamlined UI, and a much greater density of world detail like civilians, garbage, and more really makes a difference. Even cooler are the gameplay changes. Everything from implementing Grand Theft Auto 4's wanted system to opening up new locations and expanding the story with unused lines of dialogue make this a pretty different experience from the vanilla game. Throw in the massively updated car models and new physics system, and you've got something worth sinking some real time into. Also, CJ's fingers aren't glued together anymore. Game changer right there. What we've got here is something much more subtle than changing the literal building blocks of the game world. Halo 3 is already 14 years old, which means two things. One, I'm going to go have an existential crisis when this is all over, and two, tech has moved pretty far forward. Using Reshade, we can add modern touches like depth of field, ray tracing, and more accurate shadows to bring it a bit closer to current standards. It's still not going to fool anyone into thinking it came out this week or anything, but by taking advantage of newer and more expensive techniques, it can present itself in a fresh new way. We got a lot of flack last time we talked about mods for not going into Skyrim, and yeah, that makes sense. It's one of the first games that comes to mind when you think of modding. Let's make up for lost time by covering a whole heap of mods at the same time. Prepare your unworthy retinas for the Total Overhaul mod, courtesy of Hoddleton and Toxic Gaming. Some of this is next level. For reference, this is what the game looked like at release. Put it side by side with the modded version, and you'd never guess they were the same game. Man, it's so pretty, I just can't contain myself. I'm so happy I could just tear out your intestines and strangle you with them. I think it's like a thing from one of the Elder Scrolls games. I promise that I'm not a psychopath. Or am I? One of my old favorites, maybe a decade old, but thanks to the work of dedicated fans, it's looking better than ever. Red Dead Redemption 2 is already one of the best-looking games on the market, bar none. How do you take a game that dang pretty and make it even more impressive? Life and, Digital Dreams have found a way. Reshade again flexes its mighty muscles to bump the resolution up to an absurd 8K, throw along some tasteful ray tracing, and generally just bump up the visual quality a notch. Sure, it took an RTX 3090 to get there, but hey, who needs kidneys, am I right? Like with Halo 3 earlier, Reshade is on the more subtle side of things, but side-by-side comparisons show there's actually a fair bit of difference. The vanilla game looks plenty nice, but the Reshade enhancements speak for themselves. Of course we were going to talk about Grand Theft Auto 5. I mean, come on! It's Grand Theft Auto 5! The newest Grand Theft Auto game! Still! Rockstar may be dragging their feet with the sequel, but thanks to some of these, you can get Grand Theft Auto 5 looking like a game of the future. Take Quad V, for example. It isn't a massive change, but its more natural, high-contrast visuals and poppier reflections on things like cars help make it feel just that little bit more authentic. The Beyond Realism mod, made by everybody's favorite cookie-based magic user OreoShaman, brightens everything up, dials the atmospheric perspective way back, and kicks the contrast up a few dozen notches to make something that looks like a playable YouTube thumbnail. So that was all great, but the Natural Vision Evolved mod, shown off in expert fashion by YouTuber Gamesource, pushes things even farther. Its markedly more detailed reflections make the rainy streetscapes feel more impressive than just about any other mod we've seen. The stylishly oversaturated colors really pop, and the bloom is dialed up to 11 with some pretty extreme results. Visual mods are always fun to mess around with since they can help you appreciate games in a new light, sometimes literally. If you like your colors loud, your reflections in your face, and your computer visibly on fire, give some of these a shot. Mods are arguably the single best part of gaming on PC. Sure, we get the fanciest and shiniest tech with the obnoxiously loud keyboards, but a good mod can change everything. They can build on top of an already great game, give them a stunning visual overhaul, or give you a new experience altogether. So as long as there's an active modding scene, our favorite games never end. They just get better. And there we go. Yet more mods for the masses. Were there any in particular that you liked? Do you think some of them went too far? Or are you just here to bust up my underground puppy smuggling business? Let me know. And again, I hate to ask, but if you could like and subscribe, it helps us out a whole lot, and it's a good way of seeing whether or not we're making the kind of stuff that you want to watch. Let me know if there's a particular subject you'd like to see me tackle, and why it's a half-hour review of Pen Triicelon on the Sega Dreamcast. Speaking of self-indulgent vanity projects, I'd like to mention my latest endeavors. The Cutting Edge doesn't actually belong to me, Joey, it belongs to Lucasmelor. Making videos over here is a blast, but I'm also eager to find out what I can do by myself. With that in mind, I'm going to be making some solo stuff and seeing how it goes. I'll update as soon as I've got something to show for it, but in the meantime, feel free to drop me a comment letting me know what you'd like to see from the new channel. The sky's the limit. Till next time, I'm Joey Nasser, this is The Cutting Edge, and I'll catch you later.